All right, welcome in. Welcome back to the BFR Podcast presented by Sports Mockery. My name is Dave, cover the Bears for SM. As always, joined by co-host, good friend, Chicago Bears content creator, Ficky. And we are going to be going live for the Chicago Bears minicamp this weekend. Obviously, Friday is already taken place. We have today and then Sunday, I believe. So there's going to be a lot of stuff just to react to, a lot of fun stuff. Obviously, Luther Burden is his press conferences, I think, are going to just be must see for the most part.
Sure.
And that's, I guess, typical for receivers. But at the end of the day, we have just a lot to get to, a lot of fun comments from yesterday. We're going to go through the highlights, the best that we've seen, maybe the worst as well, but it is rookie minicamp, and there's no pads. It was more 7-on-7s, a lot of position group, drills. So there's not too much you can take away, but we are going to do our best to kind of go through the details. But before we get started, like always, Ficky, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very good. We got divine intervention on our side with with the Pope news that dropped. Him being a Bears fan. Now he's not a Cubs fan, right? So they got proof, which is a crazy find. I don't know if you saw the video, the 2005 World Series, and they found him in the background, like future Pope just chilling watching World Series. That's crazy. Little fun fact too. He went to He's a Villanova graduate. And he said he's a Nova Knick watcher. So not only is he a Bears fan, he also watches the Knicks. So I'm telling you, sports gods up there, whoever you may be, sprinkle some. If it's the Bears, I'm fine. If it's the Knicks, it's fine. I got to get something over here. So I'm doing well because I feel like we might have some extra work on the back end here that's maybe going to help this team succeed here in the future.
So when we heard about the Pope, it's crazy how quickly they found out, because it was like, okay, he's a Cubs fan, rumored to be a Bears fan, but he's a Cubs fan, like 100%. And then out of nowhere, they're interviewing his brother. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I don't know where that came from. He's a Sox fan. I'm a Cubs fan. I think you are as well. So I was like a little bummed about that, but I did think about Villanova. But the Knicks are playing great, man. Like, you got to be super stoked.
Got a game coming up. My heart has almost.
I know. I see reactions. I'm like, does he care more about the Knicks, or we just haven't been in a scenario right now where the Bears have been playing meaningful? But I can't wait to see. That's what I can't wait to see. Because I'm like, if you're reacting this way to the Knicks, imagine a playoff game with the Bears.
Yeah, for me, how like the order of sports are, it's football first. I've always been an NFL fan first, so more of a Bears fan. Second closely is NBA and Knicks. But like, I've been a Bears fan longer than I've been a Knicks fan. Was only a Knicks fan like late middle school, so it's been like 15 years. But much later, well, Bears fan, I basically came out the womb. And then third is baseball. Just because the sport itself, nothing against, it's just not as exciting. It's much better now with the pitch count being sped up. But that's kind of the order of operations of like what gets me excited. Luckily, I did get one with the Cubs. We got one with the Cubs in 2016. I went crazy for that. Watched that season. I watched basically almost every game. Watched every playoff game. That is for sure. And that game 6 in Cleveland was crazy with the rain out. Or game 7, sorry, in Cleveland with the rain out delay. Wild. So definitely have seen at least some sort of success. But yeah, if you've seen my video, I posted one on Twitter. People call me a psycho for watching it on my phone. I don't know why, but I've been watching sports on my phone for so long and I'm just used to it. But yeah, it's my TV's off. I can literally be watching on the TV and I'm just sitting there dead silent watching it because every Knicks game this postseason has come down to the last 2 seconds, which I can't stand. Like, just can you blow out a team for once? But we're also up 2-0, so I really can't complain. But it's been fun. You're right, Dave. If it's a Bears game though, oh my gosh, my nerves are crazy. That's why, like, I almost had a mental breakdown, crash out on that Cody Parkey missed kick after he just made the kick before. So one day.
Yeah, there is I don't even want to talk about that playoff game. That's a heartbreaker for sure. But I'm excited, man. The Knicks are fun to watch. I'm actually rooting for them, and I'm not a Knicks fan. You know that. I hate the Knicks.
For sure.
But I do not
like
hate
Boston more. I feel like Boston. Yeah. Everyone hates Boston. I can't stand.
I would say I would hate Boston more. It's pretty easy there, but I do not like the Knicks either. So it's not easy, but the players make it, like Brunson and Hart.
Yeah.
They just make it a little bit easier, tough to swallow. Or easy to swallow as far as the rooting for them. But I'm hoping, man, they play today.
3:30, yeah. So
all right, man, 3:30 game
before the storm. So, but hey,
Calm
what
before
about
the
you? Congrats being a new dad. Let the viewers know. Number 4, he's
I
building.
tweeted it. Not number 4.
Baseball. Oh, 3?
No, 3. Yeah,
3. My bad.
said
Was off
4.
my
I'm like,
He's
whoa.
building slowly but surely. He's building.
Yeah,
He's
little
building a
squad.
solid offensive
No,
line.
man, it's beautiful. It's everyone's healthy, mom's healthy, baby's healthy. So I didn't tweet for like almost a week. That was wild.
Yeah,
so but it felt good. It felt good, man. Yeah. Just take a little break, So no, super stoked. Everything's good. I'm excited to talk Bears. I love camp, but it's like mini camp is like a tease because like I just want training camp to be here. Right now it's just rookie. So Caleb's not even on there. Like last year, that's what I want to kind of talk about before we get to our highlights here. Was last year was so much fun because you had Rome, you had Caleb. Rookie mini camp felt like camp. And so this year, albeit fun, with Aussie Trapilo, Luther Burden, of course. But you got the number or the first round pick who's doing mental reps, right? On the sideline. Of course, he's dressed up. He spoke to the media, but he's not. And I'm talking about Colston Loveland. Yeah. He's with his shoulder. He's not out there participating. We're not able to see him dominate, in reps, 1v1s or anything like that. And so I thought last year we were just super spoiled to be able to experience, a rookie quarterback and then who was a first round pick overall, number 1 overall. And then number 10 overall was Rome Odunze, your wide receiver. So it not as electric. However, what I've heard, there's just as many people there. Like as far as just the media, national media, it's kind of crazy. The Bears, the poll that they have for a Bears rookie mini camp, there's more people there than, at White Sox games, as far as the media goes. So
yeah, for sure. But I think a big key of that is there was something. So last year, the newness was the players. This year, the newness is the staff. Like you got new players in, but it's what everybody wants to know is Ben Johnson and these coaches, right? And if you listen to a lot of the press conferences, a lot of the questions that the media is asking, these players are like, how's the coaching? How's the coaching? How's the coaching? Right? Because that's the new thing. Now, that's not as exciting, of course, as a new rookie quarterback and a new wide receiver, both top 10 players. But I think, like you said, I think you said it perfectly. We got spoiled last year, but there's still some exciting stuff to come from this. And again, I think I say this every year. It's rookie mini camp. It's syllabus week, right? They're like it's their first time in, just learning the basics. I think that's what Aussie Trapilo said was like, it's like learning the basics and getting to the fundamentals, So yeah, it's nothing crazy where, these guys are going to show something and you're like, this is a future Hall of Famer, right? That's just not the case. So
no, I was going to pull this up here. Yeah. Ozzy, you said not a future Hall of Famer. He did look good. He looked really good. I know it's just mini camp, no pads or anything like that. So you can only take so much from it, but I love this photo right here. Kind of want to go over, Dennis Allen on the left side, new DC. You got Ryan Poles smiling. And then of course, Ben Johnson smiling here too. But I just thought this right here really just from last year, looking back, Matt Eberflus, was it Washington? It was the DC.
Eric Washington, yeah.
And then, I don't even know if Poles was in. He was probably there, but this photo right here really talks. It just feels like what a change. I know it's been less than a year, but to be able to see this change. No, I'm sorry, it's been a year. What a change, right? What a upgrade. Obviously, they still got to go out there and execute, but I mean, just from this picture alone, it's got to give you a little bit of hope to see the number 1 coaching candidate the last couple cycles, Ben Johnson, of course, and then Dennis Allen. I think that's one of the most underrated additions to his staff was him as the DC because he's experienced, his head coaching experience. Really, really excited. So love this photo. Wanted to share that real quick before we moved on.
We talked about it, right? One of the biggest additions of this team is almost subtraction. You're hoping, like if you got no new players, no draft happened, no free agency, you took the exact same roster from last year and you removed Eric Washington, Matt Eberflus, and Seattle. I can't think of his name because I'm trying to delete him from my memory. The old OC,
Shane Waldron. I didn't want to say it.
Thank you. Gosh, I want to curse my day here.
Well, thank you for making me say that, Ficky. 9:30 a.m. You're making me say that.
It's just ruining people's day. So if you were just to remove them, insert in Dennis Allen, insert in Ben Johnson, you would assume the assumption is your team would win more games. How many? We don't know. But the overall point is that the coaching would be an addition just because you got rid of the guys who sucked last year, right? And they did that anyway. Shane Waldron, as we forget, got removed the last season and the offense got better, right? So we literally saw the results of that mid to late season last year. So I think this picture is very, 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 very important because I think it's the most important part of what's happened to this team. We've gained new players, yes, but it's not like we gained a bunch of big names. We drafted good players, right? But it's not like we had these crazy trades for someone, big splashes where it's like, oh, this will move the needle. No, these guys are the ones that are going to move the needle. So I'm excited to see how, the coaching, how impactful it will be and how quickly we'll start to notice those things. Like imagine, when will we notice time management or not have to think about it in the, before half or at end of game? Is that week 1? Is that week 2? Like if we notice that right away, that in itself is already like instilled some confidence. We can win 2 to 3 more games just from those decision making. So
yeah. No, I make sure I'm not muted here. I agree. I think
one comment. Sorry. Yeah. I did forget. We did have one big trade. Thank you, Alex. Joe Tooney was huge. So in the Dolman signing. But yeah, I'm thinking of like it wasn't like a Montes Sweat like trade in the middle of the season. Something you're like, oh my gosh, like a Khalil Mack type of ordeal. We didn't have
Can I ask you something before we get to Aussie here? Because I think that's where I want to start with some of our highlights and with Aussie Trapilo. But Montes Sweat, I saw a conversation here. I'm not going to say names or anything like that, but I wanted to ask you this question. Was it a mistake to trade and then have to pay Montes Sweat? Was it 2 years ago now? Or
no, we traded 2 years. We traded 2 year and a half.
Almost
mid-season.
Yeah, almost 2 years. Mm-hmm. But was it a mistake to not just trade for him, but also have to pay him because of the leverage he had? I just want your initial thoughts. We don't have to have a long conversation. I saw this, and there was a very long thread, and I saw some good arguments both sides.
Well, look, he had a down year last year, right? So you're always going to have recency bias. You're going to look, what have you done for me lately? But if you were to not count last year, which a lot of people are saying is due to injuries, right? That could be the case. Also, the team just sucked overall, okay? So there wasn't anybody on our team that had a career year in anything, unless they were a rookie, because that was their first year. There's no one you look and you go, oh, you had a career year. Because even Jalen Johnson had a good year, but the year before that's his career year. So he had a down year, and I'm not necessarily, putting all that on him. But if you think about the situation, why we traded for him and how the team was built and the money we had, it made sense. We had the cap space at that time, right? And we still do. We didn't see the effects. It's not like it's hurting us now. And if you remember, people shortly forget that team had no defensive line help. None. That's why we made the trade, because we could not get to the passer at all. I think we were like bottom 5 in literally every pass rush rate advanced metric. So at the time, it makes sense. And if he has a solid year this year, right? Let's say he has 10 plus sacks. Doesn't he have to go crazy, but just like 10, right? I don't think then it's worth it. A 10 sack player, we'll take that every day. We have been dying for that. And I also talked about it's not like we made him the highest played defensive end in the NFL. I don't even think he's top 5, right? So I can get it though. It's a lot of money, but I don't know.
So at the time, and I don't know why, I just wanted to talk about it, but like I said, I saw that thread and I thought it was interesting. So they locked him in shortly after the trade. 4 years, $98 million in new money, $72.9 million guaranteed. The total deal was worth $105 million. It put him 5th among edge rushers, and it leapfrogged him over Rashawn Gary, the Packers edge, or was it the edge? Yeah. So averaged about $24.5 million per year. And the funny thing is, the Bears were not thought as buyers at that time.
Yeah, no,
it's more of sellers. I saw a lot of people, and it was pretty volatile as far as just both sides arguing, and I agree with you. I think it's just way too early. And I think when you do have a down year, you're going to get those criticism. I think this is a big year for him, though. It has to be, especially with a lot of it's probably the best cast around him, I would say.
Yeah, the deep look. You added in Grady Jarrett. You drafted Shamar Turner.
Billings is going to be back.
Billings will be back, and then you also got Ode Adebango, right, from the Colts.
You got Booker year two.
So look, it's not saying I'm not on here saying we have the best defensive line or top 10 defensive line. No, I'm not.
It's probably one of the weaker parts of the team. Still,
for sure, absolutely. But they have addressed it enough to where you're hoping those extra pieces will help Montes shine more, and hopefully a year, of rest or whatever. Not a full year, but a full off season of rest. Maybe he can come back to prime shape.
Yeah. So he's 28 years old now. He's 6'6", so of course, kind of ideal as far as the edge that Dennis Allen likes.
Loves big ones. Well,
wait, what?
he loves big structured defense.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny, man. So I'm very interested. So when the Bears traded for Khalil Mack, they signed him to a 6-year extension worth $141 million, $90 million guaranteed. Made him the highest paid defender in NFL history. So,
yeah, it's not
that money, but
it's not the same, and also the extension years aren't as long. I'm pretty sure Poles, which he's done for all of these players in extensions, is set it up to where it kind of ends right before Caleb.
I think he has an out. I think they have a feasible out. I'd have to look it up on maybe OTC, but I think after this year, where I think they still get penalized a little bit, but. Well, and I could be wrong, but I just thought off the top of my head, that's what I remember.
Yeah. So I'm not too concerned. Now, if this year's bad, then we can say, okay, look, 2 out of 3 years were not good, so it failed. But if this year's good, you're going to say two out of the 3 are good. Like, I'll take that any day. Like, players have bad years. It happens. There's a lot of variables that go into it. That's why football is the number one team sport, because it's not solely one person, right? Wide receivers have bad years when their quarterbacks are out. Is that then, the wide receiver sucks? No, right? So there's a lot of variables. I need more time to gather more data points for me to make a decision on whether or not that trade was worth it or not. So, and if he goes off the share again, people will be like, oh, it was all worth it because recency bias. That's how it works. And that's okay.
No, well, that's enough of that conversation. I just wanted to bring it up
No, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. So
Bears Twitter, even Reddit off season is always interesting, man. It's crazy. So I want to bring up, obviously I've been showing some clips here for Aussie, some of his reps from Friday. I want to talk about, I'm going to bring up another clip. It says basically that 2 years after practice, in college, Aussie would take reps at left tackle. So that was just throughout college. He knew that when he got to the next level, that could be key for versatility reasons. So I want to bring up this clip, and then I have a couple more things we want to talk about. But I thought this was really cool. First of all, giant human being,
6'8",
insane. And you see from here, like I thought it'd be like an awkward, like, when you see a guy that's just too tall. Yeah. Right. He plays basketball. He's just there to maybe get rebounds if he can do that, but it's just awkward. He has a long way to go. I thought that's what we were kind of getting. Obviously, seeing his tape, but it's like, can he do it at this type of level now? He's not going against Montes Sweat or anybody right now, but a lot of these guys are not even going to be here. They're going to be either practice squad or not even in the NFL. So
true,
because it is rookie minicamp, but he's more fluid than I thought for a guy who's 6'8". So
second round pick. That's why. I mean, look, you don't get in the second round. You don't get drafted in the second round if your tape or physical traits don't evaluate that high. Like, people don't just randomly fall into the second or first round. So obviously he showed enough on tape that people have, let's take a risk on this guy. Maybe risk isn't even the right word, but he was worthy of being selected as second overall. We'll see if it pans out, but at least what his college showed made him worthy.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree. Oh man.
Whoa.
What?
Is this true? Derek Carr just retired?
Did we just get that?
Wait a minute. Luther, is that true? I'm sorry. That's crazy because he had a major injury. Shoulder injury. It is. Oh my!
I thought he didn't want I thought he didn't want surgery.
Wow. It said from Tom Pelissero, 4-time Pro Bowl QB Derek Carr is retiring, dealing with a shoulder injury that threatened his season. Wow.
So maybe, remember when he said he didn't want surgery? I thought that meant like he's going to try and play through it. Like, it's not a big deal.
What I thought.
But maybe he didn't want to do the surgery because it wouldn't be necessary to have it if he wasn't going to play an NFL again. Like, you could probably be a normal human being and not have to get the surgery he was required. But with the movements and everything he was going to do, it was probably what the doctors were recommending. And he was probably pushing back. And so that's probably why they drafted. Right?
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, look, it makes sense. He's 34. Huh. It's not he retired.
That's young, dude.
I mean, he was in the league for what's okay. It's
well, maybe Tom Brady blurred that line. Maybe he blurred that line because you're right. 34, I think, is typical.
Yeah, it's younger for quarterbacks. Let's put it that way. 34, anybody else, you're like, okay, I'm probably done.
As old as
but
hell,
you have Drew Brees who went to nearly 40. You have Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. They went to nearly 40 or above. I think
it is young for a quarterback.
Rivers went past 35, I think, as well. The good ones do. Is Derek Carr in that conversation? Maybe not. You know what I mean?
But he made it. He's a generational bag getter, though. I'll tell you that much.
That's a fact.
Because he's set. That's
Same,
probably
him and
why.
Kirk. I think Kirk Cousins is above. Kirk Cousins is like 37 or something like that. But wow, that's crazy. Sorry,
similar
rail, but that's what.
No, that's awesome.
Crazy on a Saturday morning. Who'd they draft? I
was trying to remember. Did they even draft a quarterback or am I?
No, I think they did. They did. Saints drafted QB.
Well, I'm saying, hey, how about we flirt? And I love Tyson
Bagent. This is why I don't remember because I didn't like the pick. They went with Tyler Shuck.
Oh, way before. Yeah.
It'd be right before Sanders. Yeah, they took Tyler Shuck in the, I think it was the second or third.
It was early, way early.
Yeah, because I think Tyler Shuck was the third off the board. I think it went Cam Ward. Then obviously Jackson Dart to the Giants, and then Tyler Shuck was third. And then the Browns went fourth. The quarterback took Dylan Gabriel, and then came back. Yeah. And Jalen Milroe went into the Seahawks. I think he was third. So, but anyways, yeah. If your future's Tyler Shuck, I don't know, but not like the Saints can do anything about that. That's crazy.
That is a little crazy, dude. I remember this is, I know we're getting a little off topic, but it is kind of breaking news, of course. So I remember when there was a time when we were 2-3 years ago, maybe even 4, we were all kind of rooting potentially to get Derek Carr in Chicago, I think via trade. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah.
Okay.
We wanted him bad. I do remember that.
Yep.
That was that was after the Mitch off season, right?
Had to be, before Justin, I believe.
Yep. It was the year we drafted Justin. So we were trying to figure out what are we going to do for quarterback. And it was like, we want Derek Carr. We also linked to Russell Wilson. You remember that? It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same one. So how far we've come, man. That's crazy.
How far we've come. How mighty, what is that? How mighty we've the fallen or whatever?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, though. Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying. These early pods always get me, I swear. Anyways, shout out to Derek Carr. Enjoy your retirement, my man. Him and his family.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, he had a long career. Made a lot of money, so good for him.
What I was saying earlier, though, I was like, if they didn't have a quarterback, Tyson Bagent would be I feel like an interesting trade prospect. I want to keep Tyson because you never know, but
yeah, I do too. They have Spencer Rattler still too that they took.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
be interesting. Crazy.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. Let me see here. I think I had all the bookmarks here. There we go.
They play in the NFL,
so again, this one's back to Aussie. Talking about kind of playing both left and right tackle and what it looks like at the NFL level. Thought it was a very interesting conversation. We'll see if I can turn it up a little bit. Sound a little. Okay, here we go.
Throughout college, I knew that I wanted to play in the NFL. So doing so, you have to be versatile. That's the quickest way to get on the field. So, after practice, even though I was the right tackle the last 2 years in college, working left, making sure that it's still smooth, still feels good. Especially after the season, I was working more left than right just because catching up for lost time. So it felt good today. In a way, if you're more used to playing right tackle at live speed, and you're still consistent with left, you feel good at left. It's almost easier when you're learning new technique because you don't just get into that flow state. Your habits are all coming back. you're hyper focused on every movement because it's not as natural. So in a way, it feels smoother. It feels easier to adapt to this new coaching style, new techniques, and all the above.
I mean, it makes sense, right? If you're learning, you're having to start from new, so you're focused more on the little minuscule things about it instead of what your habits, right? So it makes sense. My question is for you on this. I've heard some chatter that some people think that he actually will be starting on the offensive line. Question is, do you think that's going to happen week 1? And if so, is he starting right tackle and Darnell Wright's going to left tackle? Or is he starting left tackle, Braxton Jones is to the bench, and Darnell Wright's right tackle? Or the third option is he's not starting, which is very possible, and we just keep the same 5 we've had with Braxton on left and Darnell on right.
Well, I mean, even from this clip and from what we saw yesterday, Ficky, he lined up left tackle. I believe this rep was left tackle as well. So for me, the best case scenario, let's be honest here. Braxton Jones come back. He's healthy, good to go. He has so many reps under his belt. Yes, he has his issues, his some weaknesses that are more prevalent than others week to week. However, he's a very average starter, which is or solid. I don't even say average because that's kind of like kind of dismisses him a little too quickly. But similar to like Charles Leno Jr., a guy that, yes, there are pain points. There are times where after a game for that whole entire next week, there's going to be 3 to 4 clips possibly where fans are pissed off, getting our quarterback killed potentially, and it's just like a riot. However, there's so many times when we don't talk about him too, which is good for linemen. And so for me, best case scenario is Aussie. Yes, he could be a swing tackle. He could be a great backup. Braxton Jones plays the entirety of the year. Aussie gets some reps. He gets he gets to fill in, but he gets to kind of ease into it instead of just being forced to be the starting left tackle, similar to what Braxton Jones was, because I think he was forced to start as a rookie, a 5th-round pick. Yep. And that's a credit to Pace as well, or the Pace. Ryan Poles. For snagging a guy like that in the 5th round that has started and played so many meaningful reps. So for me, if Ozzie's great, I was say, is that my mic? Do you hear it? No.
I don't hear anything, so you're good.
Oh, okay, I'm tripping. I'm hearing like a fuzz. Anyways, if Ozzie's really good, and once the pads come on, and he just is clear as day the number 1 guy, then great. I mean, that's a really good problem to have. Then you have Braxton Jones, who can back it up, play swing maybe. But at the end of the day, you're probably going to have to pay Braxton Jones. So for me, if Aussie can at least get this first year under his belt, it'll be fine, right? And he could be the guy for the future. But at the same time, I think Braxton would be the best bet because you get that experience, have Aussie play, just be there for depth, and more than likely he's going to have to start. That's just part of this league. So whether that's for Darnell Wright, right? And then, or it's going to be for Braxton Jones. But like he said, he lined up at left tackle in 2022 and then in right tackle for 2023, 2024. So, and he switched sides after Matt Applebaum took over as offensive line coach. So for me, this is a really good problem to have. And I hope it gets worse, if that makes sense, because if he makes it really tough on the coaching staff, and he proves himself, come training camp, and then, of course, also plays well during preseason. You just love to have that problem if you're Chicago, because this is a 2nd-round pick. You expect him to make an impact like Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, Jalen Johnson, Cole Kmet over the years. Those 2nd-round picks have been impactful. To have a guy on the offensive line, that's even almost better because it's such a premier position, and it's a hard one. Once you find one, teams don't let him go. So for me,
I think that's why you saw Braxton Jones, because he's solid enough that you can't let him go. There's so many teams out here that literally have way worse options than Braxton Jones, right? Like offensive line help is very hard to find in the NFL. Just like quarterbacks, like finding good quarterbacks is hard to find. Or if you've even not only that, they get injured a lot. So you can find good offensive linemen, but the injuries stack up. So I think it's good. Iron sharpens iron here. You want competition in here. Jeez, bro. We have been saying all the old names today. Goodness gracious. Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles have talked about how they wanted to bring in competition and make it, bring in challenges and make it uncomfortable for these guys. So this is a good thing that's happened, a good problem like you talked about that's happened to this team. I think I agree with you on the best case scenario is that Braxton Jones is fully healthy, right? He comes back. There's stuff you cannot teach, and that's experience. He has 3 years of experience under his belt, so that's good to see. You let him, doesn't have to sit the whole year, but whatever. He's working, developing, and then next year he could be your starting left tackle because Braxton Jones' contract is up this year, so you can decide to move on from Braxton Jones, and you already have your replacement backing him up. And then also at the same time, your new swing tackle, right? Or it could be just your sole left tackle would be Karan Amagaji, right? You give him another year to get, develop your skills, especially with this new offensive line coaching staff, Dan Rushar and things like that. Let them build. You don't have to force them out there just yet unless they earn it, right? If it comes out that Aussie has been looking great and he earned the starting role, then that's great as well. We have one of the best backup tackles in the league. So I think it's fair to say, right, that this is a win-win situation because if he's good enough to start, then we just found a steal in the second round. And if he's not, we still have Braxton Jones and he can get a year under his belt to kind of build up his skill set. So I'm okay with either.
I think that's the best problem to have. If these guys compete and they make it, Aussie makes it difficult, or iron sharpens iron. They both are just competing. That's something that you're never going to be upset about. So
no, never. So it's a good thing to have depth. We've talked about it. This team has not had depth, particularly in the offensive line. So keep adding talent. I want that. The guy drops down, next guy goes up just as good. Like that's what you need. Obviously, that's not the case. That's not always going to be the case, but let's get as many of these solid level backups, starters, so that when injuries do happen, we can still keep moving the ball like we need to. So I'm excited about that.
Me too, Fick. So that was Aussie for the most part. Do you let me see here. Before I move on, is there anything you want to bring up in regards to what you saw, what you've heard, what you've seen from minicamp?
Not yet, but let's do our ad read real quick since we hit about the halfway mark, and then we can move on to the next one. So first off, thank you guys for hopping on a Saturday morning. These Saturday morning pods are always fun, so appreciate that. You can tell Dave and I's brains all over the place when we do these Saturday morning ones, so we're glad you guys are here for the experience. So appreciate you again for hopping on this Saturday morning to the BFR Podcast, which is the #1 podcast for the fans, by the fans, because Dave and I and Jack, who's not here, are fans just like y'all. So we go through the ups and downs of all this. We get excited for highlights, right? Even though it's no shoulder pads, we get excited for all of this, all the clips, things like that, just like y'all do. So we appreciate y'all being here and sharing that fan experience with us again. So thank you for joining the BFR Podcast, the #1 show for the fans, by the fans. Also, this is your first time here. First off, we got to give a shout out. I think it was earlier on. I think it was Scott. Here we go. Scott said, "What's up? First time catching you live." Thank you, Scott. We really do appreciate that. If you're like Scott and you're a badass and this is also your first time catching the show, please leave a hashtag new face gang in the chat. We will make sure to give you a shout out before the end of the show. So that's new face gang in the chat. Also, if you're an OG, which I see a bunch of OGs in here, please give a hashtag OG in the chat and we'll give you a shout out before the end of the show. We really do appreciate all the love and support, and we'd love to give a shout out to all of y'all that tune in and watch us. Also, if you could like and subscribe, very easy. If you already subscribed, we love you. If not, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free. And then give a thumbs up as well on the video because it helps push this video out to more awesome people like y'all because we're really trying to build a community. And that's all free. Now, if you want to support us in other ways as well, or if you want to join our ongoing community, we do have a Patreon, and that's the BFR Den on Patreon, where we have monthly exclusives, where we have monthly giveaways. We have private Zoom calls that we do with our highest tier. We have mailbag episodes and much, much more. I'm working on the calendar for May right now, so we'll have a bunch of that dropped on our Patreon. So you still have time to join if you need to. We have 2 tiers. First is our Hall of Fame tier, where you get the private Zoom call. So shout out to our Hall of Fame members. I know that Michael Berry's in here. I saw him in the chat, so shout out to you. We got Phil the Fourth, we got Gage, and we got Michael across the pond. We appreciate the love and support of you Hall of Fame Patreon members. And if you do that tier, $10 a month, you get private Zoom calls every month with Dave, Jack, and I. So it's awesome. And then we have our rookie tier, which I know Alex is in the chat. So shout out to you, Alex. We have Alex, Brian, Chris, Jason, and Eston. Shout out to y'all for the rookie tier. The rookie tier still gives you access to our monthly giveaways, our mailbag episodes, our private Discord, all that fun stuff. $3 a month, less than a cup of coffee nowadays, especially in this economy. So it's really, really, really not too much. And there's tons of value that we bring there. And also we have exclusive merch drops in there as well. So speaking of merch, final thing here. If you do want to support us, or if you just want to get some fire merch, you can go to the BFRstore.com, where we actually have our newest drops, and you can see some of those there with our new hoodie, our new hat. We have the now coffee mug. So for the next Saturday morning show, you can have your coffee mug and watch it with us. You go to the BFRstore.com. Mother's Day is coming up. Maybe you want to get something fly for your mama as well if she's a big Bears fan. So we really do appreciate all love and support there. So again, you can go to the BFR Den on Patreon, or you can go to the BFRstore.com. All the proceeds from both of those go right back into the show, so we can keep bringing more value to y'all, because this show is about y'all. Because again, it's the number one show for the fans, by the fans, the BFR podcast. So again, like, subscribe, leave the hashtags in the comment. We'll give you a shout out before the end of the show, and love y'all. All right, back to you, Dave.
No, love it. Merch has been awesome. You guys have been very supportive. Also, we've been over 8,000 subs now on YouTube for quite a bit. So we've already said thank you. But again, just wanted to shout out to you guys for the support.
One last thing, totally forgot. We'll be announcing our giveaway. We had our big giveaway for the draft, the huge one. We had like $300 giveaway, merch, jerseys, fun stuff. I have the winner. We'll be shouting it out on our pod. So make sure you follow the BFR podcast on Twitter to see if you win. We'll be shouting out this week. So excited about that. Thank you for everyone that participated. That was awesome and fun. And thank you for all the support during draft week as well, because you guys were fantastic. So, okay, that's my final thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We, what was I going to say? I don't know. The sport's been unreal. I had a thought, but it is gone. So I'm sure I'll remember it. But if you guys can just go ahead and hit that like button. I know there's about almost 100 of you guys watching right now live on YouTube, even more across the other platforms. Hit that like button if you're on YouTube. Subscribe if you want to stay more. We have a really fun, honestly, a great episode coming next week. I think it's about midweek with Jeff Hughes, who is the Bears blog. He joined SM about first week of May. And so obviously he has a lot of great inside info. He's going to be joining the pod, and he has a lot of great nuggets that he wants to share with us next week. So if you want to be the first to watch the episode, go ahead and subscribe and get notified. We'll be going live, like I said, about midweek with the Bears blog. And there's going to be, like I said, you don't want to miss it. There's going to be a lot of good info, especially on this rookie class. And of course, he already has an article on SM as well that actually featured some really good conversations from personnel around the league that gave their insights on the current Chicago Bears regime. The GM, the coach, Caleb Williams. Go check it out. It's on sportsmockery.com right now. Really good stuff from Jeff. And we'll have him on next week, like I said. So hit that like button, subscribe. And again, the support's been unreal. The road to 10K before the season is very, very likely. So if you can go ahead and support that, we'd appreciate it. So Ficky, now I think it's time to have a fun conversation about perhaps the most electric rookie, biggest personality probably, is Luther Burden the third. It all started with, if you can see here, the number he is wearing, number 87. I love it. Shout out to Tom Waddle. Shout out to Adam Shaheen. Musa Muhammad. Yeah, Moose. So for those guys, I guess it is weird to see 87 right now in this league where you see what the number changes.
You don't see that many 80 wide receivers. Like, what do you have? You have T. Higgins, who's 85. Or did he
CeeDee Lamb? CeeDee Lamb is
88. T. Higgins was 85, and I think he went to the teens, right? I think he switched his to 15 or something.
Yeah.
It's not often, but like back when we were growing up, Dave, 80s was the legit. Like, look at all these Hall of Famers. You're like Reggie Wayne, 87, 88, Marvin Harrison, right? Steve Smith, senior, 89, right? Like, those were the dogs. So
it's a lost art.
I had the tweet where I'm like, I want 80s to come back. I feel like we have, because now you have running backs in the 10s, you have quarterbacks in the teens. I mean, everyone's in these single to lower digits, and we're leaving some of these great numbers in the 80s. So I'm like, hey, let's bring it back. So
yeah,
little
I love it.
Rant.
I I tweeted it. It's unpopular, at least among. It's probably divisive as far as what people think about him wearing 87. It's not final. He had a very funny. I guess I could bring it up actually. Let me see if I can't here.
It's definitely not final. That's for sure. So
because he had a very, very funny response in regards to why he chose 87. Kind of a shot towards towards like some of the, I guess, the players that have worn 87. Let me pull it up here. Okay. And it honestly went viral. I think his response.
I mean, it makes sense. It's kind of funny.
It is funny. But let me pull it up here. Again, these numbers are not final when it comes to Luther Burden and wearing number 87. So don't buy a jersey yet. I think he's probably going to end up switching. I would love to see him rep number 3. I think it's retired by Chicago.
It is.
They have 14 numbers, I believe, that are retired. It's ridiculous. It is crazy.
Well, it's because they're a storied franchise, and so they started retiring numbers in like the 50s. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I understand that great players, but there's got to be a better way to honor these guys.
Well, there's got to be a limit. Like if, for example, let's say Devin Hester, right? They retire 23. It'd do it for 20 years. That's it. In 20 years,
final. I like it though. When it comes to numbers, I like when you see 23 in a Bears uniform, you think of Hester. Right, you see Michael Jordan. You see when I see numbers, it reminds me of those players that wore them before, and it's like
retiring is almost dumb in a way.
And if if a Bears player wears number 23 and they're electric, punt returner or something like that, it's awesome. It's like reminiscent. You get a little bit of flashback, and it also honors them in regards to the playing. But I get it. But here's his response as to why he chose 87 from Luther Burden on Friday.
I mean, it's all the good numbers gone. So,
short and sweet.
I mean, it's. I get it, right? 3's gone. Obviously, 3 is the one that makes sense. Luther Burden the 3rd, right? 5's gone, and then all the other ones, all the other like through the teens, most of those are taken. So it's. I mean, I get it. But
LB3 though sounds. I love that.
Well, that's what he was in college. That's what I'm saying.
And who is it retired? 3's retired, right?
3's retired.
Who wore it? Do we?
Was Bronco was 5. Who was 3? Wait a second. Bears retired jerseys. It's someone from like the 40s, bro.
It's just ridiculous.
it's. Oh no. Sorry, I said 5 was Bronco. No, Bronco was 3.
Oh man,
he is a Hall of Famer. I mean, it was the 60s.
That's a tough one. Okay.
So
yeah, see that one I can understand. I should have known that he wore 3. But when did he play? Like, was he 85?
No. He was got the Hall of Fame in 1963. So he played.
So even
the 40s.
He was 20 plus years before 85.
Yeah, no, 40 years. He played in the 40s. He didn't get retired he didn't make the Hall of Fame until 1963.
Dude,
yeah. This is like Bronco was like one of the first big. That's like the beginning of the Bears.
Yeah.
The Bears were founded in 1920.
But it's just for me, it's like, why is 3's a cool number too, man? Like, it's pretty sweet. So I don't know. I feel it tough.
14 retired numbers, which I think might be the most.
It's the most in the NFL, I believe.
Yeah. So they have 3, 5, 7, 28, 34, 40, 41, 42, 51, 56, 61, 66, 77, 89. So
Bronco.
Honestly, 89 would have been fire. Because I always think of Steve Smith with that, but obviously that's take 88. Who's 88 on our team? 88 would be fire as a wide receiver. We already see CD do it. Marvin Harrison was 88.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Luther picks here. But he was also asked a really good. Like I said, he looked good. He is. I think he's awesome. I think he's going to be. It's going to be interesting to see what Ben Johnson does with him and see what role he truly plays year one. I think he's going to get on the field a lot more than we expect. I think he's a guy that come week one, he could score a 50-yard touchdown on like a screen pass, right? Like I could see that easily with him because he's so electric and so good after the catch. But he was asked about it was basically about being passed on, in the first round and being drafted in the second round, what that means to him. Is he going to hold that close to him? Is it going to motivate him? And I love this mentality, the way that he answered this. And I expect nothing else with Luther, because I think right after he was drafted, the next day or that night, he was already vividly pissed about being passed on, in that first round because he believes his talent was good enough to go in the first round. I believe that too. So here's his answer, though. I wanted to play it fully because I love it. I think he's so good. And he's, like I said, 21 years old. I think this dude is going to be insane. And I might be a little biased, like I said, just because obviously Bears drafted him. But what a steal. So here's his answer. And in regards to being passed on.
The chip on your shoulder a couple weeks ago after you were picked on day 2 instead of day 1. Is that something that you leave behind on draft weekend, or is that something you're carrying with you here?
No, that's staying with me forever. So everybody who passes on me got to pay.
The chip.
Just very serious, dude. I love it. Everybody.
Look, any way you can find your motivation, I'm here for it. Like, obviously, this doesn't mean that this dude's going to have the best wide receivers career ever, right? We have no idea, but I do like a little, for sure. I like a little motivation. You love a chip on the shoulder, right? Now he has to go out there and execute. So, while you were playing that, I was looking through the list of 80s. I'm going to read some off and let's see if there's anything. I'm just going to read them off real quick and see if there's any of these he could take.
Let's pick him a number here.
Yeah, so you got Durham Smythe, who's been on the team for a little bit, 8 years in the league. That's a tight end, 81. So you probably can't get that.
I don't like 81.
John Jackson, 82. That's
Caleb's best friend.
It is, but that could be up for grabs. We don't know if he's making the squad.
I don't like 82 either, though.
I'm trying to think. Who's a good 82 wide receiver? I like 87 better than 82. Yeah. Okay, we have Samori Toure, 83.
I like 87 more.
Okay. Miles Boykin, 84.
Like 87 more.
Okay. And I think 84 is going to be taken by Colson Loveland anyways, but they both on 84. 85 is Komet, obviously. 86 is Joel Wilson.
Tight end. 86.
I don't like 87 Luther.
I like 87 right now.
88, you have Stephen Carlson, who's been on the team.
Tight end, right?
Tight end, yep. He's been on
Get his ass out of here. Give Loveland 88.
Yeah. So basically,
you can change numbers or you cut them.
So basically, it's 87 or 88. Or what about 80? What was 80? Is 80 retired? I don't think so, because Bernard Varian used to be 80. I used to love him back in the day.
Earl Bennett too, right?
Earl Bennett too. Yes, I loved Earl Bennett as well. Yeah, Earl Bennett was 80. So why doesn't he pick 80? I don't see anyone on there with 80.
Go 88 though.
If he can get that.
His game reminds me of CD a little bit too.
88 would be fire. 88 looks cool. I love this.
Luther Burden. We got to clip this. Luther Burden, wear 88. If you can't find a number that you like that's low, teens probably. I don't even know what would be available. But I think Luther Burden right now, wear 88. It's sick. I think it's way better than 87, way better than any of the numbers we just listed as far as the 80s. I think 88 makes the most sense and probably makes him the most money as far as jersey sales.
88, 80, 87. That's my order.
88, 5, 6, 7 tiers below is 80. And then way before that, probably 4 or 5 tiers is 87 because I like Tom Waddle. I like
Moose.
Who else? Moose a lot.
Don't say Shaheen because
that's what recency. But it's like a tight end number now, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to say I'm not love Tom Waddle. I get it. And the game was different when the receivers wore 87. But it's like now in this day and age in 2025, I think strictly tight end. But I don't hate the number. If he stays with it, honor Tom Waddle, honor Moose, and he's probably gonna have. I'm not going to say it, but he's more talented and probably going to have more, hopefully a better career than both of those guys.
Because Moose only had his best career year for us.
And Waddle's a legend. I mean, he obviously does radio. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like I expect and hope Luther Burden has a better career because of his talent. So for me, if he's listened to this, which he has retweeted me a couple times, and he's very active on socials. He's probably looking for a number right now. So if we can help in any way, which I don't think he needs it, 88. He's watched CD Lamb. It's a sick number. It's way better than 87.
87 and I guess it reminds me of Travis. Like I always think Kelsey. Like it's tight end. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And it wasn't available. I guess 88 wasn't available because of Carlson. But at the same time, Tyson Bagent, his number was taken for camp this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So just limited on numbers, I guess. But Who was it? Carlson? Stephen?
Stephen Carlson.
Yeah, get the no, dude. Luther's probably making way more than him. At the same time, he's going to have way more of an impact. He's going to be on the field more. So God willing, you give him 88. So Luther Burden, number 88. Hope you all like it. So
there you go. There's our pitch. The BFR
all right.
certified pitch for 88.
Yeah. Numbers, man. That's where we're at in the offseason.
Right.
No, I think it's I love Luther Burden. His game is I'm super stoked about Loveland, and I think he's going to be insane too. But I think these two guys, Luther just has that ability where it's like I could see him replacing probably DJ Moore in a couple of years if the trajectory goes the way Chicago wants it to. Right. DJ Moore is 28. He's the oldest receiver on the team right now as far as like the top 4. And I think his game's likely going to deteriorate. It just happens in this league. You would hope that he's the replacement, and he's going to be cheaper over the next 3 to 4 years. So, but if you can get DJ Moore, him, and Rome for a good 2 years where they're just firing all cylinders, and if anybody can handle this and you know, what's the word? Make sure targets are not equal, but everyone gets a fair share. Ben Johnson can do it. Caleb can do it too. You saw it last year. That guy was sharing the rock everywhere. So
yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of projection even still. Rome's got to take a big step up second year. DJ's DJ. We don't know what he is. He's going to be great. But if he can refine his route running, right? You get him to refine his route running, there's his ceiling.
He already looks anybody there can't even touch him as far as his ability. There's no
ball in his hand.
They're all undrafted. I think a lot of them are undrafted. A lot of them are just tryout players. And he's so good, dude. Also,
I saw a lot of people in the comments here. 13. Keenan Allen's gone. There's a practice squad player that has 13. It has a 3 in it.
Yeah. Okay, well, 13 or 88, though. I would go 88.
I think 88's cool. Bring back the 80s, man.
And maybe we're just biased here right now because we're stuck on 88. I don't know. I like 13, but
I mean, he kind of is Johnny Knox-ish. You know what I mean? It gives you that.
Oh, did Johnny Knox rock 13?
13, yeah.
Oh, dude. Are we going to see? Because I think didn't he like return punts a little bit? Did he return a punt or two?
Yes, he returned punts in college. Yes, he did.
That'd be interesting. That's something that'd be fun to. Obviously, you're not going to find out any positions right now, any battles, or where they're going to be sitting at the depth chart. But I think Luther would be explosive. But at the same time, you probably don't. He's probably third, fourth. He's at least probably the third option as far as receivers go. So you probably want to keep him healthy or make sure limit his potential for injury. On punt returns.
You don't want a Tariq Cohen situation. So you can get injured even on the field. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's the offseason talking about numbers. Love it here. But I think the sentiment towards Luther Burden right now, this is everyone's favorite pick. And it makes sense because you have offensive, like everyone loves a wide receiver.
I love Loveland though.
Yeah, I do too. I'm happy about Trapilo as well. Also, Shamar Turner. We barely talked about him. I'm very excited to see what Shamar Turner can do. Does he play defensive end? Right? Because right now they're asking about Shamar's weight, where he needs to be ideally, and he's saying about 290. I think right now he's above 300, right? 290, 280. Is that the big edge? Does he move to edge on some pass, some rundown plays, right? It's interesting to see. Like, I think people forget, right? We had four. We had 4 picks within the 2 rounds. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is even if like your hit rate's 50, that's 2 solid starters. You could possibly hit on all 4. So I'm really excited about Colston Loveland, LB3, Trapilo. If he may not start just because of position availability, but excited about him. And then Shamar Turner. Shamar Turner is definitely getting reps alongside Grady Jarrett, Billings, and things like that. He's definitely in the rotation. So I'm really excited about all of those guys.
If I had to peak I go back and forth between Burden and Loveland because I think they're both going to be immediate impacts. But Aussie gets me excited too. And we talked about him earlier in the show, what he's going to be able to do. I think he's going to be a lot better than I think many of us expected. And he is a second round pick. I think a lot of people forget that because we had 3 of them. Right. You have 3 in the second round. It's like
when you get to your fourth one, you're thinking, oh, this is guys. We're late in the draft. No, bro, we're on day 2. Like still.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you got to get excited about that. So one thing I wanted to talk about was Eric Bieniemy and the way he was coaching the running backs. I'm going to see if we can hear this audio here. But is it Manungai?
Yeah, Kyle Manungai.
Kyle Manungai. I think I'm saying that right. Manungai? Is it Manungai?
Manungai. Yeah, that's what it is.
Manungai.
I think there's 2 O's in there.
Want to say this. Little David Montgomery. I've heard that. I know I've seen that thrown out. I really, truly believe that. I think the running back class was so deep, but getting him in the 7th, I think this could be a very, very sneaky. He's not a burner. He's not going to – that's what Swift is there for as far as the home runs. But his contact balance, the way he's able to – his vision in between the tackles, I'm very, very curious to see if he can push Roschon Johnson a little bit or make him uncomfortable on that depth chart. And I think that's what – if you're a Bears fan, there's a lot of position battles. You want to kind of – there's a lot of competition. But if there's one you really want to watch early on, especially when the pads come on in July or probably early August, Kyle Manungai is going to be interesting.
For sure, because you know what? What's also important, people forget, like, this isn't automatically a guy that makes the team. This is a 7th-round pick. This is our last pick. A lot of 7th-rounders do not make the squad. So it'll be interesting to see not only the battle, but can he find his way on the roster? I know a lot of people like this tape, but we also have to understand he fell to the 7th for a reason. So there's obviously something on the tape that a lot of teams are like, okay, that's why we didn't take him.
That's true. It's true.
I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I'm saying, though, you kind of have to weigh out both. I think he's going to
be. There's very prominent people in this league, both that cover the draft, that cover teams that had this guy in the 5th.
That's true.
As value as a 5th rounder.
Right. He fell.
So maybe he fell. And I think there's some traits that are just he doesn't have some explosive traits that you're like that get you drafted in the 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, whatever it might be. You don't have like those a burner. You don't have a guy that's a freak athlete, and I think he is a freak athlete in his own right as far as the way he's able to keep balance. Very Montgomery-like, and Ben Johnson obviously loved David Montgomery. So very, 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 very fun to watch as far as what he can do. And like you said, make the roster because it isn't a given. So
yeah, for sure. How do you feel about the running back room? Because some people look, I know we've had the Swift conversation back and forth. Like Swift is good, Swift's not great, in my opinion. I'm not mad that they decided to stay with him. I don't think he's automatically replaceable, but he only had 3.7 yards per average.
Can I say something?
Last year, and he dances beyond the hole. But yeah, go ahead.
It bothers me the disrespect that DeAndre Swift gets. People are saying, people just don't give him enough credit. I understand he had some. It was rough in the beginning, but the coaching matters.
Offensive line sucked too.
The offensive line was awful at parts. I remember that speed option. Horrible call, right? Horrible call. Honestly, that whole entire red zone was awful. But the speed option on 4th down was bad. The call was terrible. But look at the offensive line. There's screenshots from last year that did millions and millions of impressions, and it was laughable because Chicago was getting laughed out of the league essentially those first 6 weeks. It felt like, especially I know we were 4-2, but it's like there was moments throughout those games where it was like in Indy, it was terrible. And for me, DeAndre Swift gets too much heat, gets too much hate for the guy and the player he was, especially last year and even in Philly, where he was over 1,000 yards from scrimmage. He's going to be within it. Probably, if the offensive line was a C- last year, I would say, right? C+. I would say at minimum it's a B+ this year.
Oh no, B+. I'm saying this year's is a B+. Yeah,
at minimum, it could be a really, really good unit, top 10. And now we get to see DeAndre Swift hopefully run behind them. And I understand there are some flaws. Each running back has that, but Swift, in my opinion, is the best back clearly on this team. And even if they went and added a, let's see here, Dobbins, right? He's available. Chubb. Swift, in my opinion, is still the most electric guy. And I think he's going to be even better in Ben Johnson's offense. And I get that Ben Johnson moved on from him, but that has nothing to do. It's an entirely different situation here in Chicago because of how the board fell. Of course, they were looking to get a running back. I understand that, but I don't think it was to replace Swift. It was to complement him.
That's not. Yeah, that's not.
So for me, you need 2 backs here, but I hate and I can't stand. I think it's the most absurd thing here is to basically disrespect Swift from what he did last year, where there was no offense, and sometimes he would be the guy that got that team, especially helped Caleb out of a rut, and he would score a 50-yard touchdown. So for me, the disrespect, it has to stop, and I hope he goes on to have like a Pro Bowl year.
Well, that'd be great. We'd love that. My one thing that I think would, because I agree, I'm like, it's not like you just get rid of DeAndre Swift. First of all, you just paid him for a reason. First off, so from a financial standpoint, it doesn't make sense to just offload that contract. You just paid the man, okay? But his biggest weakness, and this is his weakness that was in Philly, it was his weakness that was in Detroit, is that he likes to dance a lot. When it works out, it's great. But when it doesn't, it's like, bro, just hit the hole. So be more of that north-south runner. And what we've learned from Ben Johnson, his type of offense, is that he likes the guys, when he does his outside zone schemes, that wait. Like, your assignment is you hit this hole, you wait for it to open, and then you take off, right? Don't dance left and right, boom, 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 boom. Can that get coached out of him? Sure, absolutely. I'm not saying DeAndre Swift can't work in his offense. I just want him. If he can do less of that, I think he'll be even better. Because he has the athletic traits we see it. Like, the dude breaks tackles all the time. So I'm like, and a lot of that goes into offensive scheme. I'm not in the running back room. I don't know what they're telling him, right? They could have been like, do your thing back there, right? I have no idea. But based on what Ben Johnson typically has shown in Detroit, and that could be different here, because again, we're not in the room. I wonder if he goes more of that north to south type of runner, wait it out, hit the hole and go. Because no one's catching you. You got the speed.
And the thing that I love about Swift is his receiving ability. You saw it last year. You saw it in preseason where he can take a screen and 60 yards. And I understand you're going to need a guy, especially in Chicago, playing late in the NFL season, late November, December, January, where you need a guy that's going to get you 3 to 4 yards the hard way. And you can find those guys off really, I hate to say it, but you can find them really on any roster. Like at training camp, there's going to be cuts. You can find running backs. For me, the receiving threat that Swift is so crucial. It's going to be so helpful for Caleb this year because there's going to be so many more weapons that you have to deal with in Chicago as far as the 2 tight ends, Kmet, Loveland. You got Luther Burden you got to worry about in the slot. You got Rome who could be in the slot. You got DJ Moore who could be in the slot. Outside, so many different ways to line these guys up. And then you got to worry about Swift too, who can he can be a home run guy. So for me, I think we're going to see the best of Swift. And I can't wait to see his. I don't think he sees the disrespect, but at the same time, it would be hard for me not to believe he doesn't hear some of this. And so I hope they find a guy that complements him, whether it's Kyle Manungai, which is here. I think he's repping number 25, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would love it. He's a small back. His balance is great, so I think he could complement him. We'll see. But Roschon Johnson too. It's gonna be a really fun room to watch, especially when the pads come on, man. But I want to talk about this guy right here, Eric Bieniemy. What an addition to this staff. This staff is star-studded. The way he was coaching these guys, yelling at them on rookie minicamp. I just love how hard he coaches, man.
Yeah, as I say, he's known for being a psycho, and I think that's why he hasn't gotten a head coach.
We need that, dude.
Yeah, we do.
We need that. That's why he hasn't got.
Yeah, it's funny though. Because you see this not just with our team, but with a lot of NFL teams. Whatever the old regime wasn't or was missing, a lot of times you course correct. It doesn't mean it always works, but you course correct with the new regime that comes in. So I think I've complained about this or said this word so many times on this podcast, but last year we've heard it from the players. Accountability. There wasn't that I'm on your back type of ordeal. Like, you're going to get this right. Do it right. Yeah. You can see with this coaching staff already from clips from what players are saying, things of that nature, and Ben Johnson talking himself, right? They're going to challenge the hell of these motherfuckers. They are going to be more at your throat, right? They're going to be more in your face. It doesn't mean that they're not also going to be players, coaches, but there is going to be much more, I think, that hard-headed coaching. And I think that's what this team needs, to be honest. They need that because last year there was too many mental mistakes where you're like, you're not making that if you're coached well, right? You're not jumping on 4th down, right, over the line and the offense gets a first down. Like that mental errors. You're not doing a Tyreek Stevenson end of the fail Mary, right? Little things like that happened all throughout the season. And if you have a different regime in here that sets the gold standard at a higher level, those mistakes are less likely to happen. Do they still happen? Yes, but at a lower rate. And that may end up, this game of inches, it might end up in 1 or 2 more wins, which means you make the playoffs. So I love it. I'm excited for it. We'll see how it works out. But like, just something different than what we'd seen with the previous regimes. I'm here all for it.
What's up, Vic? I'm hyped about it, man. We have one more day of mini camp here to kind of react to, so it'll be fun to kind of check back next week. Of course, we have a really great episode with our NFL insider, the Bears blog, who has a lot of good stuff to talk about as far as just some inside conversations within Hallis Hall that you're going to check out. We'll be here. It'll be dropping live next week, about midweek. So keep an eye out for that. Follow us on our Twitter, BFR_pod. To kind of see when we're going to get that episode out. But Ficky, any other lasting takeaways here or final takeaways before we conclude this episode?
It'll be interesting to see the updates on Colston Loveland and his injury. I feel like he's going to be fine by training camp, but just kind of keeping an eye on that. And then I'm kind of excited to see who makes the squad and who doesn't. Like, because there's so many guys in this rookie camp, and you always see it every year in the NFL. 1 or 2 guys that kind of show out during the rookie mini camps and make a spot on the squad and also leave an impact on the team, right? Doesn't mean they're a starter and, they're having a crazy year, but you see they make 1 or 2 plays a year and you're like, holy cow, I remember when he was fighting for the job in rookie mini camp. So I'm excited to see what cream rises out of the crop and what those players are and who solidifies a spot on this team. But what about you?
No, absolutely. I mean, this makes me, I'm just excited for training camp. I love mini camp. We got OTAs coming. I think I have the schedule here as well. So let me get that on here so we can go ahead and talk about NFL off-season dates for the Bears. So we have rookie mini camp May 9th through the 11th. So tomorrow's the last day for that. OTA off-season workouts are going to be May 20th and May 20th through the 22nd. So that's when the entire team will be there, including the rookies, starters, Caleb Williams. You expect everyone to be at that OTA off-season workout. Then we have another one May 28th through the 30th. So another weekend there. And then June 9th through the 11th will be another OTA off-season workout. And then mandatory minicamp, June 3rd through the 5th.
Summer flying by at that point.
It is going to – yep. And then, of course, we don't have training camps. We don't have the dates for training camp yet, but they'll be probably end of July.
Yeah.
We started earlier last year because of Hard Knocks. And I don't think we can't get that again. So
thank God. Because look how that turned out. So
honestly, though, I would love to see I would like to see Hard Knocks again, with just because we have Ben Johnson and all these new players.
We're gonna get 1920, so at least we get something.
Yep.
At least the media teams put
Bears do a great job there. So, anyways, we appreciate the support. Awesome episode for you coming next week with DBB. So keep an eye out for that. Hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Rate the pod on Apple and Spotify. What's up?
And then I got to give shout outs before you do your closing. So we have to rip in here real quick. So Kenny B. Holding with the hashtag New Face Gang. Thank you, Kenny, on YouTube for watching us for the first time. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for joining the BFR squad, the number one show for the fans by the fans. We got Gio in here, true OG. What's up, Gio? Thank you for hopping on here. And then Dobbsy as well. Welcome back, Dobbsy. Feel like it's been a second. Hashtag OG. Appreciate all the love and support. Y'all are killer as always. So appreciate it.
I love it. Get Ben Johnson on here. I don't know why I switched it over, but we appreciate the support. Like I said, really, really fun offseason so far. We'll check back with you guys mid next week. So make sure to follow the pod, rate, subscribe, subscribe, and we'll see you here soon. Bear down.
Peace.